I'm Bridgette, I work with Irene and Philip, and today I'm just going to go over Top Producer. So this is a CRM program that we use. We're a team of 5, but really there's only 4 of us that use the program. So everything is web-based. They do have a tablet and phone web version, but to be honest, I don't use it. I don't like it. It doesn't give you as much of the capabilities as the online version. So when I log, this is exactly how I log in. And you can set up your screen to show different parts of the program. This is just how I happen to have my screen set up. So the first thing that I see over here are all of my to-dos. And anything with a red button here is just saying it's overdue. I haven't done it on the date that it's supposed to be done. What I really like about Top Producer is that at any point, I can check in, and vice versa with all of the people who are set up on this account. We can check each other's activities. So if I have to set up an activity for Irene, I can go into her account and I can just set up the activity. Or I can see what her outstanding activities are. I can do that with our other admin and our other agent. So we'll just go basics. Entering a contact. Everything you pretty much need to know about the program is going to be on the main screen over here. So all of the tabs over here have sub-labels. So if we're going to add a contact, you just have to hover over contacts, and you're going to add.
Is it compatible like well with the Mac? Like, can you import your contacts from like your iPhone to
See, I don't know about that. I have never had a problem importing or exporting because every time I have to export to like a different program, it's never given me an issue. You can export the contacts. But when I came to work with Irene, everything was already set up, so I didn't have to worry.
I'm sure it does.
I
Yeah.
guess you can, and the people at Top Producer will help you to import your contacts.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily recommend it
because
necessarily.
it's too many.
Well, I just felt like by the time I went through and had to code everybody afterwards and do all this stuff,
Yeah.
and then I ended up with dupes, and all this other stuff, and there was a lot of people in there that I wouldn't even want to
Yeah.
have my contact out of
So you
it.
just select them.
I just felt it was better just to
That
start
makes sense.
from scratch.
Just a word to the wise, when you are starting out, it is going to take time just because you are building the system, but it's better to take your time because as your contacts grow, at least you know everything will be set up correctly.
So the whole point of us doing these next couple of weeks is for you guys to figure out like what each program, well at least the 3 programs that we're covering does. Because you get edge with being a KW. So you gotta figure out, like, is it just gonna be enough for you? Or do you need to invest in something extra and sort of go to that next step?
And one thing, I tried the e-edge like for like a day, but when you add a contact, it kind of automatically wants to send them stuff, and I was totally freaked out by that, and I just stopped doing it because you don't want them to, like, I didn't want them to just send things to them, and that was the default, and it was really like, I didn't like that at all, so I
Can't
just,
you turn that off?
I don't know, I just didn't like that they even had it like that, so I
Okay.
don't trust that like program, just like, that's not how I would do it.
And I didn't find it as, when I used it, and this was years ago, I just didn't find it as detailed as Top Producer. That's me personally. So when we're adding contacts, all of the information we really need is going to be here. So what we do, and this will help when you're going to search, one of the most important things is when you're picking your contact types. Now, as you're building your database, you can create the contact types that work for you. These are just what we've used to set up because it helps us search.
I can't see the categories.
So the very first bunch of lists are quite new. What we started to do recently is anytime there's an open house or a side call lead, we will, if we're going to go in the database, then we're actually going to assign the street address to them as well. Because if it turns out that they want something like that particular house, we can just go in and go, oh, you were at that open house, and it's an easy way to select.
To remember them?
Well, to also to pull them up.
Oh, okay.
Right, so let's say, because we had a couple of houses on Warden, a couple of listings on Warden, south of Kingston Road. So if we have a listing that's south of Kingston Road, we can pull up the people who went to those open houses or call them those signs and say, okay, we've got another one.
And then is there a way, like when, say they buy or something, or they say, you can just like put them on hold or like postpone them from what those lists, I guess?
Or you just deselect it.
Or you did, oh.
Or can you move to a hot,
You can have multiple contact types.
hot
Exactly.
contact, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, so the great thing about the contact types, they have some standard ones, but you can create whatever you want. Like you can, anything.
So then, like for that example, then you put keywords for that one guy, like he called on Warden and he wants $500,000 range or something.
Yeah, except that'll be a different section, we'll get
Well,
to that.
there's like, you see at the top there, it says contact status, that's kind of like the sales pipeline
Yeah,
thing,
that's exactly what it is.
right? So new, engaged, future, active, closed there. So you can have those ones there. So like say for example, like you had ones, I guess, in the open house, you could have them as active clients because they were looking, but then if they have bought, then you could change it to
Yeah.
a different status, so you're
But-
not active.
What you were asking, David, Bridge, can you just pull up any contact? Just hit like home, I'm sure. Oh, are
Yeah,
they yours?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, just anybody. Hold on. Anybody, anybody.
Watch, they're not being
Okay, so in here, there's this very, very cool section called lead info.
Okay.
Click on that. So buyer preferences, you can put any
Okay, leave with keywords then.
waterfront, duplex, triplex, fixer-upper, building lot, main floor family room, there's like all kinds of sections in here. You can have a house style. What we ended up doing is rather than, because there's features and amenities, we ended up putting a whole bunch of stuff in house style because that's the first place we go to. But any contact, you can search by any of these fields. So if you want to pull up lead preference or buyer preferences, you go into an advanced search and you say, oh, somebody really wanted a main floor family room in Etobicoke. And you can pull up all the people, like, you can find that, you just can't remember them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a very rich system in
Okay,
that
yeah.
respect.
Yeah, so that's actually the next thing we're gonna talk about is searching, so searching for a contact. So once you have your contacts in, like Irene said, you can search by any category, price range, names. We most of the time do it by contact type, just because it's easier, but that's how. So you would just go to search contacts.
Well, except if you're looking for a specific person.
Yeah.
If I'm looking for Bridgette Leonetti, I just.
Yeah. But if you, so like when we do our mass mailings to people who receive hard copy newsletters, for example, I would just go here, I would type in the category type, and there you go. So once I click
Do you
done,
guys want to move up a little bit?
Yeah.
Can you see from here?
I think so.
I need to be like up here. Yeah, it's a small group, we can do that.
So and the good thing with this is when you're pulling up contacts this way, it gives you the option, because when you send somebody something electronically or even a hard copy, and they say, you know what, I don't want to receive anything anymore, if they click the unsubscribe in their email, they're gonna automatically be unsubscribed from any automatic emails that we send out. If somebody calls us and says, okay, I don't want to receive any more of your hard copy newsletters, then we go into the system and we mark them unsubscribed. So when you're pulling the contacts from this group, it gives you the option, do you want to include the unsubscribed or do you not? So this is, I guess, especially important for any email communication, now with the privacy laws.
Yeah, it wouldn't actually apply to hard copy.
No.
If they say they don't want to get any hard copies, we just delete them.
What do you mean hard copy? Like just.
So we have two
Any
different
email.
mailings that we do. Sometimes it's email, and some people either don't have email or they don't want to get emails. They say, you're gonna send me a newsletter, send it to me in hard copy so that I'll actually read it. So we have like 900 and change people on our email database, and then about 350 on hard copy.
So then, so if I'm pulling this list, I'm just gonna pull this list, so search. So then it's gonna pull everybody on this list. And then if there's certain people you know who don't want to receive a list, this is where you can weed them out. You can go through your list. This is also,
So let's say you want to send the same letter to everybody. Hi, it's a good time to sell your home. You can just select them and schedule an activity at the bottom, and it'll let you pull up whatever letter in the template you've created that you want to send.
and you can do emails as well. So if you want to send out a mass email, I was just saying to David, we don't use this for mass emails anymore because we use BombBomb.
This video,
What is it called?
BombBomb is it's a video email program.
Is that EH? What is this?
This is Top Producer.
So when you're scheduling an activity, you're not limited to, you know, an email or a letter. So if you want to send, if you want to create the same activity for multiple contacts, you have all of these options. So if you want to set up appointments, calls, letters, envelopes, and then you just, so for example, pretend we're setting up a letter. So I'm going to set up a letter. You can title it anything you want to do. So we can do newsletter, cover letter. You pick the date. You can even, so if you have a listing or a sale in the system, and we'll go through that after, you can even attach a certain activity to that sale.
So everything is connected. Some of this stuff, because you guys aren't using the system, some of it like, oh my God, what are you saying? But what you need to remember is everything can be connected to just about everything else, which is the great thing about the system. We have action plans for new clients, and then we have listing and sales plans, and then we have closing plans. So you can attach a plan to a listing or closing. You can attach a program to a new contact. So everything is interconnected.
When you send an email, does it go through your email thing, or is it, it's
It
all?
goes
It
through
goes
top,
through top producer.
Okay, so then if you want to search for what you said,
it'll show up in our contact.
only the top producer, but not the other email.
Well, there was an Outlook connector, because I'm still a dinosaur, I use Outlook. So we had for ages, there was a little, I don't even know if I call it a program, it was called Outlook Connector. And when you set it up, every time I sent an email from Outlook,
Yeah.
I could send, or I could say send and copy to TP. And from there,
One of the
But
files.
now,
it would go in the file.
it has my Gmail
I was gonna
on
say,
mine,
like,
and when you're in a contact, you just go to email history, and it will show you all of your email communications with all your clients.
Even
Well,
with,
that's if you send it through top producer.
No,
Yeah.
no,
No, if you've got it linked
even
up
if you're
in
just
Gmail,
sending it through Gmail.
it'll show up.
Oh, see, we
In
don't
the
have
top
that.
producer.
You set up with your Gmail. Spirit pack.
that's why the trip one's a piece of crap, you know, when you send it, when you send a link.
No, you can have it changed, I have it so it comes from my Gmail.
No, but you don't know
Just
if
pull
you
up
sent
another,
it.
any contact.
You know if you sent that listing.
Yeah.
If you sent it yesterday, you think, did I send it to him? You can't go back and see your sent file.
If
Yeah,
you send it
unless-
to yourself.
Unless send it yourself, yeah.
Well, no,
Yeah.
actually, just under summary there, Bridgette, and then if you look at email history, summary and then email history next to notes,
Oh, okay, because we haven't
that,
sent it.
that is, like, if I look in there, any email that I've sent through Gmail will come through,
Through Gmail, see, we learned
will
something.
be there.
Cool. So if you are sending things directly through top producer, whether it's an individual email or a mass email, if you go into activities, and then go into completed, it pulls up everything. So whether it's a to-do, a letter, a label, an email, a mass email, anything is in here.
That that guy got.
Yeah.
That he either got sent to or sent from. Now, what used to happen with the Outlook connector is anytime I copied a message from Outlook to TP, there would be a copy of it here, and you could read the whole thing.
Oh, okay, so everything is filed, still filed here.
Yeah, but we haven't reset it back up
I
again.
tried to, but now there's a whole new set of instructions for the connector, and I'm afraid because Irene's got so many emails and so many files that if something goes wrong and it ruins everything, then she's lost all of her data because of Outlook. So I'm hesitant to do the connector again. But another thing that's really good about, so if you look in the contract, if you go to summary, it doesn't matter who on the team has made a note. It'll timestamp it, date stamp it, and it'll tell you who wrote the note. So it's a good way, so if Niku, our buyer's agent, has called Ken and talked to him, okay, we've got an appointment coming, or we're coming to visit you, she can put a note in the system so that the next person who goes into the contact will see the notes and say, okay, Niku's already spoken with him, I don't have to call him.
So we now have 4 licenses. So we have mine, we've got Niku, we've got Bridgette, and we've got Nicoletta. So they're all, see, so, me, client care, oh, because you're client care.
Yeah.
Right, so we're in Bridgette's TP, so she can pull up anybody's activities, anybody's history, anybody's anything. And then whoever's logged in will be the one whose notes appear in the content.
Just a quick question, it doesn't have to be addressed now if there's later on, but Just, what I kinda like to get a little bit out of is just how you set up your plans, like whether they came originally just from top producer, whether you developed them all yourselves, and then,
Do you have that on
Also,
your
like-
list, or should we address it now?
That's actually, it's next.
Great.
Okay.
So perfect timing.
you said,
It did, so as far as I know, it did come preset with certain plans.
It comes preset with like so much, and it's all branded KW, right? If you're a KW agent, you're gonna get a KW branded top producer. So it comes with listing plans, closing plans, after closing, it comes with 10 different versions of 8x8s depending on if it's a buyer or a seller. Like it comes with all of that. But to your point, Natalie, a lot of it is a little bit cookie cutter. So because we sort of had all our plans anyways, we just, so if you see here, so all of this, so all of the IK, that's what we created, right? And we've now broken down buyer's condo, buyer's freehold, like we've broken down all of the plans. But if you start here, KW Direct, all of the plans are there. So all of the 8x8s, action plans, closing plans, listing plans. Like if you don't want to sit and create your own and you just want to pull one up, just at least get an idea, you can modify it.
yeah,
You can modify, like you
Absolutely.
can change the
Everything-
color or something.
Everything is modifiable. If there's a letter or an email, you want to change the text. Some of it's a little bit American, right? Sometimes you want to make it a little bit more personal. You don't want it to sound like it was automated, even though it is. So you can do all of that. So the framework is there. You don't have to recreate it.
yeah.
When you send those, like, you know, if you send a mass email, does it address to each person? It knows how to do that? That's
Well, no,
good.
you have to set it up. You have to set it up with the merge codes.
So actually,
So-
I'll show you.
So
sample.
dear first name, or dear salutation, or dear whatever, like you can
Because
pick.
that's like one thing that takes a lot of time if you're doing it on your own,
Oh.
just like,
Every time you send out an email, it's 950, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the one thing about BombBomb is they don't let you personalize.
no, okay.
Yeah, but it's fine, because of video and it's
Yeah,
not.
that's a
So
little more.
I'll show, so a sample of a mass email, I mean, again, we don't really use it so often anymore, but it just so it gives you an idea, so when we would send out our newsletters. This is the template, so you've got the subject, and the yellow, so where it says contact letter, that's the merge code. So based on that, once it goes to prepare the emails, it's gonna, it'll say, Dear Sally, Dear Jane, it pulls the first name. And then when you're setting up the contact, actually, this is important to show you. So in a contact type, here we go. You go into their contact details. At the bottom, you're gonna see the marketing tab, and it lets you pick how you want their letter salutation to be. So if Ken had a wife and her name was on here, we could put here, so the letter salutation would say, Dear Ken and Jane, right? So that's what it automatically pulls.
That's also good, you know, if you met Ken Chung and then you met his wife Agnes and you don't know that her last name is Chung, right? You can custom make a salutation to say, Dear Ken and Agnes, and not have her come up here, because you don't really know her last name, you don't want to call it a Chung if her last name is Chung.
So that's that, and then, so that's fine. And this, you can do this for letters, emails,
You can essentially create whatever you want, Natalie. So for letters, so we put the date, the address, and then the salutation. So whatever merge code, that's called a merge code. So it's either a text code or you can put links, you can put whatever you want. But you create what you want it to say. So when we send letters, when we send hard copy letters, we'll send out 350. We don't want to do 350 labels. So we do window envelopes. So when we create the letter, where the address is lined up so it's in the window of the envelope.
we actually just did that this morning.
That saves a lot of time.
And again, because they did a switch over the system, there were a couple of weeks where I had to just be careful of margins, but once you have the template set,
Yeah, let's show them
Yeah.
the wireless early. So we just sent this out. Or snake party, or anything. I mean, any of those. It was just there.
It's just, yeah,
Keep scrolling, there you go. Right, so we did an email of this, and this is the letter. So you see this, we put those, the girls put those codes in.
Oh, then those correspond to the box on the
Yeah.
contact.
That's right.
Yeah.
So each letter will say David Young, address, province,
Right.
postal code,
Yeah.
dear David,
Yeah.
right? And we print those off as documents. Yeah.
So that's marketing, adding a plan to a contact. So once we have your plans created, if you want to just say you've got Ken, he's going to list, and you want to add that plan to his contact information, you just have to go to activities, and then you want to select an action plan. So any plan that you have created is going to pop up. So any of the pre-made plans that you created or that have come pre-installed with Top Producer. So once you select this plan, all of the activities associated with that plan will pop up in his to-dos. And so
In here, in the incomplete, until you do them, and then they'll be in the completed section, so you can, it'll go into completed section if you actually do it and mark it off. So, you have to make sure you track it, it won't just automatically go from the incomplete to the complete list.
So how to show your calls every morning. So on the main page, all of your activities are broken down by type. So you've got your calls, actually, and Irene will be up there.
Yeah, I was just gonna suggest you do that.
Yeah. So here are Irene's activities. So every morning, she's gonna log on to her Top Producer, and this is her main page, and she's just gonna click on the call button here, and this tells her which calls she's gotta make. And you see the contact it's associated with.
So, I will call contacts in batches, depending on their urgencies. Shoppers I call every 4 weeks, my A prospects every 8 weeks, my B prospects every 12 to 16 weeks. So sometimes I will just pull up a whole bunch of contacts and just pull them all up on screen and call one by one. Sometimes I want to remind myself to make a phone call or do something for a particular person. And that's when there's a specific date for each contact that you can put in there, so it comes up on this front page, so you don't forget. You don't forget to call. Are you?
So what I don't understand is don't hear from you, try again.
Oh, those are the notes that I made in their contact record. So let's say I called somebody and they said, I'm gonna call you back.
Like today, say you call them.
Yeah, and they say, you know what, I can't talk, I'll call you back later. I'll put them forward to like a week going, hey, you forgot to call me, or tonight, or whatever, right? So these are my notes that I made for myself, so that when I pull up their contact record, I remember. Did you use the lead section, the pipeline? At all?
To some degree, yeah.
So Bridgette, just scroll down to leads.
Oh, you know why? Because I don't have it in my screen, so.
Oh, okay, all right. Because that's not something that I've been using as well as.
Well, I mean, I think it's a good, like, you can do it still, you can go to, if you just click on contacts, should still be there, I think.
Yeah.
Just click on the contacts, just the tab
Oh,
itself,
okay.
and then I
Well,
think it
no,
brings
the-
you to that home screen
I
that
think
shows you what your
no, the sales
pipeline is.
pipeline, yeah.
Oh, yeah, there.
Yeah.
So you've got this as well. I mean, to me, this is good because, if you do follow and have them as, new, engage, active, that sort of thing, then, like you're saying for your batch, if you're batch calling people or whatever, like, probably like on Friday, I would look at all active clients and make sure I touch base with all those people or, seeing what they're up to on the weekend sort of thing. And, obviously you're trying to sort of move people forward, going from new to engage to active.
Future, 6,075. I like that. Okay, I still haven't figured this part out. So maybe we should talk
How
about
many
it.
you guys been
Well, it's
using?
interesting, and then if you change them also, because you have the other status, which is non-client, right? So you can put all your business contacts in there, and then they won't show up in your sales pipeline. So to me, this gives you a better snapshot of actually how many people you actually have that you can work with, right? Like off the bat here, it doesn't show that you have any active. For me, those active ones would be people that I'm actively looking or listing, right? That's what I would have for there. Future is just anyone that's in my database that's getting my newsletters,
okay.
sort of thing. Engage is maybe like a new lead that I haven't signed, right? Or new might be there, engage, new might be maybe like open house leads, for example. Engage is people that
Are we in?
I've met with, but I don't actually have signed up.
We're in new right now.
Okay.
Active would be kind of like my pretty much sure things that they're gonna make a deal with me. And then, you know, closed, obviously, it's closed.
Yeah.
And then you roll them back into future again.
Okay, clearly I figured this part out. Sorry, Karen, right?
Catherine. I was just wondering how long you guys have been using it.
Since 1992.
Oh, wow, okay.
It's the only thing
So
I've
is
ever
sales
used.
pipeline a new portion of it that they?
I'm sorry?
Is the sales pipeline?
It's,
a
yeah,
newer
it's new in the
aspect?
last, I don't know, couple of years.
Well, it is since I only got this 6 months ago, I
Oh,
think.
okay. Yeah, it's
But it was there when I
couple
got
of
it.
years.
Maybe 2 years.
But
Yeah.
it's also, like, just click on just where it says contacts, like just the tab, that's it, just click there. I think this is the one, isn't it? Yeah,
Oh,
so you
okay.
see here, like, it also has, doesn't it have your,
So here's the pipeline over for.
it's got your top contact types, and then it's got, on the sales pipeline, like, on the other side there, it has, you know, how many new leads for today, buyer leads, seller
Mhm.
leads,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So this is a cool section. We just started using this properly now. So rather than immediately putting somebody right in the database when they're referred, we're going through the referral section now. So if they were a referral, we add them as a referral, and that instantly gives us the ability to tie them to the person who referred us. So, yeah, we probably should have put Peter Kaltika in that one, right? Yeah.
Sorry, your list was only showing 9 closings. Are you guys
Yeah,
using the listings and closings section?
We're using the listings and closings, but we weren't, I think that's probably just from the sales pipeline.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to show them the closings.
So this is a breakdown. We don't currently have listings now. So,
Yeah, show the closings.
So this is anything that's closed and has to be paid or pending closing.
Right, like if you go to all, upper right, just, if you got the all pending, so, just do closed paid. Right, so, well, I see it goes back to 1996.
So if
Right,
we
you can
want
select a date, you can select like January 1st, 2016 to December.
So we'll do January 1st, 2016
Yeah.
to December 31st.
Oh, it's thinking. Yeah.
No, this is it. So
Oh,
now
okay.
There,
these are all
you
of
can
our,
see even on the bottom too,
Yeah.
it totals up the
Yeah.
total value and stuff.
yeah,
Just
so these are all of our closings from last year. And this is good because up until December of 2013, or sorry, 2016, I was also doing the expenses in the top producer.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So we're moving out of
You can
that.
add expenses
you
in?
can do everything.
Wait, like what type of expense?
Everything just.
So
pull
keeps
it up.
track of their income, so I would, so as they get paid, I take the pay stubs and I report it as the income, and then just start taking away fees. So like the $5 KW care fee goes into a different category, anything to do with listings.
So just
Yeah.
pull up the expense categories.
Although
We're-
I was
we're
gonna say, what are you using now?
Well, we've just started to use QuickBooks, and really, there was absolutely nothing wrong with the system. In fact,
We
I
just
loved
leave
it.
out.
Our accountant and bookkeeper wanted us to be on QuickBooks, so they would have access, so we could reconcile better, because we have corporations that are tied into real estate. So other than that, just do end of year, or, I don't know, maybe December, do December.
So there, so all of the expenses have been put in for December. So it'll break it down by income earned, and then in all of the categories, what was spent in each category.
So these are categories that we created based on accounting categories. So Bridgette has a list of where each expense goes, and then she would enter it under the appropriate category. Geez, didn't spend a lot of money in December.
No, it was late. And and the good thing with this is that you can set it up for 13% HST, so it automatically deducts the HST. I mean, you have to double check when you're entering in the numbers, so that when you go to do your HST submissions, if you do it yourself, you've got the numbers there instead of having to do it a second time.
You're very organized.
And it's, and as your team grows, it's more important to be organized, because when it was just me, it was easier, because it was just me and Irene, and I had everything in my head, and I knew exactly what had to get done. But now that there's somebody else taking over different activities, there's that part of me, like, the alarm bells go off, because I'm not always in the know, but I know it's getting done, so it's just growing pains. Yeah, everything is pretty much set over here.
How much does that cost, that top producer a year?
So,
The regular licenses are $40 a year.
and Irene pays less because
A
she's.
year?
No, a month.
A month.
So we pay about $140 a month for 4 licenses.
So there's
Awful nice.
the second
There's
license.
two agents and 2 employees.
You should sweet talk them though, because they'll bring it down from 40 for
Oh,
sure.
I tried already. I tried.
Yeah, I'm paying for it,
Yeah.
plus tax or whatever it is. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've been with them for 25 years. I think they're giving me a break.
And there's no difference between the fees for admin and the fee for agent. It's the same.
They same access, right?
Yeah, and we all have access, like, so again, if we have to see what each other's activities are, if I want to, so a lot of the times I'll go in and add an activity for Irene, like reminder, drop off the commission check or whatever, just so it pops up in her to-dos.
Now, does it notify, have you guys popped up to your phone, notify you?
No, and the mobile version of this is not very good. So that's, if I had to say that I have a beef, that's it. It does not, it has a mobile version, but it's not good. So I'm hoping that they'll update that.
I think just a little piece of advice that I had when I did my search for, which one to land on was, I looked at YouTube videos of tutorials for the programs, so I got to see a lot of the usability from there. And the other thing is that what I learned from doing it is that it takes a lot of time to get yourself used to it. After I went through and sort of individually entered 100 contacts, and figured out this, and then I was kind of like, well, now I want to add this field, and I had to go back to the 30 that I'd done previously. But after doing it like 100, couple hundred times or something, then you start to learn where the buttons are, and it becomes a little easier. But there are some growing things.
And again, with any new system, because there's so much involved in it, it does, it will take time just to get comfortable with the system. But once it's set up, and again, you're always going to be making little changes, because we're still making little changes, whether it's a contact type or, how we list things. Yeah. Once it's set up, because everything's interconnected, it makes things that much easier. So going forward, once we sell his condo, it will keep a track of that. So if I'm not sure, so in 2 years, if I'm like, well, what did we sell, what did Ken sell, or how many times did he buy and sell with us, it'll keep a running track of that, so. Again, it keeps track of the notes, preferences, and everybody has access to it. So not one person will be out of the loop. And that's what I like best about it, is that everybody has all the information. But like Irene said, the mobile version sucks. Like,
Do you use the follow-up pitch at all?
I don't.
I also find it's like a significant portion of the pitch.
Yeah. I mean, you can always minimize it, right? I don't know.
yeah, and you can adjust what you want. So this is what my homepage looks like, but you can adjust whether you want the pipeline at the top, whether you want the listings and the closings at the top, or whether you don't even want them on the page at all. So you can adjust all of that.
Do you know I never have?
I mean, so I think there are even first name only, not even a last name and the phone number. So this is a contact too, right? Even though you don't know the last name. Like I don't know who should I put on the list. Like we talked about it, but people
I'll tell
that
you.
have not bought and sold, just met, who are those contacts? How do you?
Well, but see, this goes back to what Paul was saying about the pipeline. And you have to make that decision, right? So maybe in the pipeline, you put, like if you just have their first name and phone number, maybe you want the opportunity to nurture them a little bit. So just put them in the leads until they're a bit more serious and you can put them into your regular database, right? Instead of clogging up your regular database with people who you don't know for sure you have an opportunity to work with.
I think that we've covered everything on the list, and again, it's a learning process. But once you get the hang of it, at least for me, it became second nature.
Yeah, I had a big challenge with how to log, like, basically couples in this system. I found it really like, kind of like you sort of tie the other person now to the other person so they almost don't become their own contact. They just become a...
Well, it depends on how you set it up.
Yeah, I mean you can, but like you see how you have like, yeah, there, like any of these people.
So in there's certain circumstances, so if I know the couple is going through a very bad divorce, I'll create 2 separate contacts for them.
Yeah.
And again, as a team, we'll know, because going forward, once that property sells, they're considered separate clients. So for that time being, for the listing time being, I just have to have everything duplicated, because they're gonna get separate emails, they're gonna, everything, I don't want them. But in a case like
There's
this.
sort of, it's just this weird kind of...
Okay, so just go to contact details? So, but there's room for the other email address, right?
Yeah.
So what is your?
Well, it's just a couple of things, like, I mean, I sort of figured it out over time, but I found it challenging, like, do I want people as 2 separate entities, but then you can't really have a sale with them, so then you join them together. But the secondary contact usually doesn't have as much, detail, because you only have, like, you fill it in there as spouse partner, you fill in the spouse's name, and then that automatically now adds them. Then when you go to friends and family tab there, then they'll show up there, right? And if you click on them, this is all the information that you can have about them, right? About them specifically, unless you add notes on the main contact now.
Which is what we typically do.
Right.
So like, and in the case where I've split them up completely, I'll put notes in each of their files saying so-and-so is married to Mrs. Jones, they're in a separate category, or they're a separate contact because.
Yeah, I mean, like, it works out now, but
Yeah.
it took me, like, a long time of, like, sort of going, how should I do this, and do I need the person to be separate, do I need them to be sort of together, like, how do I want to set them up?
What do you get from them being separate if they are a couple?
Well, I mean, some people, like, might have bought a place together, they're not married, do I want
this
them
is where
kind
I'm
of on
running
anything
into
like
issues.
that? What about, I had, for example, like, a father, like, basically the son was my client, but the father ended up kind of buying the place for him, right?
Except it was the other way around. The father was the client and they bought for the son, so we split them up.
Yeah, so it was like how, like that kind of thing, like, it's like, do I want them?
Situation.
Yeah.
I mean, we split our guys up.
I guess my point just being is that it took me a little while to sort of come up with my system that I felt comfortable with in terms of how I'm entering their information. And I found it weird the way that it joins them like that, and stuff that you couldn't just have 2 contacts and just have
And
them
then merge.
noted that they're assigned, kind of thing. It's just the way that it works with this system here.
Did you look at the Buffini one?
No, I didn't look at the Buffini one, I looked at iExact.
Lizanne will do a few next week.
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
be here for that.
Cause they got a free demo, 30-day free demo. I just got it this morning to start it.
It's a pretty rich system. I mean, if we weren't as tied into
Yeah.
top producers as
Yeah.
we are, I'd probably jump ship because
Yeah.
it has a lot more functionality with tracking and
Oh,
with
okay.
connection. Like
Yeah.
it's certainly it's kind of like this plus.
It's got all letters and stuff too, then.
What's that?
Letters and stuff.
Does it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know that part.
I'm assuming, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that part I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for us to.
I was saying before, like, when I had top producer, it was, you bought the disc, right?
I had the floppy disks.
Yeah.
I just threw those out last year.
I had floppy disks, then I had CDs. I skipped Top Producer 7i because I said, fucked if I'm gonna be putting my information online.
But
Can't affect progress.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're so, like, you go from floppies to CDs, and then all of a sudden they want you to give that up and put it somewhere.
And they want to pay by the month.
Yeah, that was the other thing. It's like, I buy my CDs, that's it, I've got them.
Yeah.
Now you want me to store it somewhere else and pay for it? And you do.
I was gonna say, they get
You
you.
just do. Just do.
So I think that's it for basics.
Just in terms of your campaigns that you have, like your plans and everything, does most of the stuff just go out automatically, or do you review it always before you send it?
Anything I send out, I'm training our new admin, anything that goes out, we review it before it goes out, because especially with the preset letters, especially with our buyer and seller letters, we may have to tweak it a bit. Like, for instance, if it was a father who bought for his son, you'd have to just tweak,
Yeah.
because, you know, it's very generic.
Right, like, rather
Yeah.
than, you know, thank you for letting us help you buy your home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right, like.
if it's a condo, I'll change it to condo, just to be specific, or
Or
if it
your
was.
son's property, or,
Yeah.
you know, whatever.
Or if they went through like an excruciatingly long period of searching, you say the search is finally over, you know, like just kind of like, you make a comment as to, you know, we acknowledge that it was a painful process, but it's done, and now we're helping you get through the other side, something like that, right? We
So-
try and just personalize it a little bit.
So how does that work? Like, it's then on your activities list
Yes.
and you open it up and sort of review the letter?
So, let's see what I've got here.
Like, I don't have really any campaigns set up yet, so.
She's done everything. Okay, let me go to the templates and I'll show you, plan.
Why don't you go to the plans, go to like an 8x8, a new 8x8.
So like new seller, oh, here we go.
Okay, yeah, whatever, any of those. Right, so new buyer, oh, no, that's not a good one.
The buyer prospect.
No, go buyer prospect later, because that's more of an 8x8. Okay, realize that's what you did. Probably don't even use that plan anymore.
Okay, so buyer prospect
So,
later.
yeah, later, anything later.
Later.
Right, so we find a new buyer, they're not ready to do anything for 6 to 12 months. So we put them in the system, and so they enter the information, and they say, attach this plan. So then in their contact entry, in that list of incomplete activities, all of these activities come up. So once we write the note and say, you know, very nice to meet you, Catherine, look forward to helping you down the road, whenever that might be, we'll be here in the future when you're ready. Mark it off as done.
Well, there'll be a check mark when it's assigned to a
So,
contact.
if you, like, email newsletter, so the standard one,
So, view template.
well, no, edit it, because he wants to know to edit it. Right, so the template is just a template.
Yeah.
But so the newsletter says, it was great meeting you, no, you're not ready to move right away, but let's say it was somebody I knew from high school, right? So we put in, it was great seeing you again after all these years. Send,
Yeah, rather than.
right? There's something that's a little bit more relevant.
Okay, but that just shows up in your daily kind
Yeah.
of thing, and then you actually just click into that, and it will say, this letter is sort of like in your outbox, ready to go. Then you make those quick changes, and then you just hit send. Yeah.
And that's for any activity associated with a plan that's been attached to a contact. So yeah, you basically have the option to personalize everything.
Or not, you can just send it. It's up to you.
Well, I like having the more control over it as well, right, rather than just.
Well, rather than just having it go automatically.
Well,
You
yeah, I
have
almost
the
had a
same-
heart attack, and it's like, you know, it's like I had, because you write in information like buyer, warm, or whatever, and like who knows what they send, because they're like, I just, you know, we want to be able to make sure you're not like upsetting anyone, or just
Right.
someone,
Yeah.
people get annoyed with like spam,
Yeah,
they're just
if
like,
it looks like spam, as opposed to, dear Natalie, it was really nice meeting you.
yeah.
And I look forward to helping you next year, right? Then it actually
Yeah.
sounds like you talked to them.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions?
Do they do free trials of this, or
They won't.
no?
What they'll do with you is they'll basically walk you through it on the phone. They'll do kind of what you just did, but they'll do it virtually, like they'll be controlling your computer and showing you how to use it.
I did get a free month though somehow.
Yeah, they wouldn't do that for me, but they would, that was the one weird thing.
They even gave me a hard time when I asked for a discount. They did.
So they did give me a discount though.
See, they didn't, they gave me a hard time too, so.
Well, was that for the second license?
This is one I was buying for, yeah.
Okay. Oh, so they gave you a discount on all of them or just the second one?
All four.
Yeah, I'm gonna call them again.
Just say we're looking at moving to
That's
Buffalo.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
What was it, what that discount?
That's a lot of money now for 4 people.
Oh, it adds up, yeah.
Yeah.
Because all of these software companies are really smart. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's bill these people on an annual or monthly basis rather than for
It's
paying
like,
one
like,
time.
what do you call it?
Well,
Windows,
it's a lot, but I mean, at the same time, you know, like if you're
Windows
talking
365.
$45 a month or something, if it gets you
No,
one
they-
deal,
Yeah.
Office,
it
Windows.
pays for itself,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
7 times over.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's why I haven't made too much of a fuss about it.
yeah.
And clearly, we're not dissatisfied.
Because the
I was
15
gonna
one
say,
is expensive,
it's one of those
isn't it?
things,
I
when
thought
you're using it, then it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
60, I thought it was like more than.
Is it? I don't know.
A month or something,
How much?
like over 100.
Yeah,
a
maybe
month.
you're getting a
But
good
maybe
deal,
I'm-
because I
maybe
did
I'm
see
wrong.
the different price options and they're like,
You can definitely pay more than $40, so.
Oh, yeah, we know that because we're investigating follow-up boss right
Yeah.
now as the before database follow-up program.
And just based on my initial research, it seems quite expensive. Like, I think it was $80 a month for one user, so.
Anything else you guys think of, just drop us a line.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Come next week and look at everything else and compare.
And if you have any questions, just shoot Irene an email, or you can shoot me an email on clientcare@ireneandphilip.com.